this is the first of another kind of video that I'm trying out as I'm experimenting with possibly showing you maybe something other than my face. On Steam, praise Gaben, there are games that get released that get completely overlooked in the shuffle of the just enormous amount of games that get released. Which, by the way, is one of the things that people complain about as far as Steam Greenlight and the mountains of garbage that end up on Steam. They say, "Oh, but these games, are getting in the way of people seeing good games on Steam." And so then that there's a point to that. I mean, it's kind of true. So there are some games on Steam that get released, and it feels like nobody has just even ever tried them or know they exist. And some of these games are actually really good. So I will be occasionally making videos to show you games that I've discovered on Steam that I personally feel are really good, that it looks like no one's heard of and nobody's ever even tried. Forget saying they like or don't like. It's like they don't exist. And that's unfortunate because that, if people don't know they exist, then they're certainly not selling any copies. And it's like maybe people would like them if they knew they existed. So it's not even a question of being a niche title. It's just people just don't know it's there. And we're going to start with our very first video. Will be on a game that I've really been interested in. And I've mentioned this game in the past. And this game is Beyond Despair. Beyond Despair is an early access title. It came out in January. It's April now. It's the end of April. And it only has 76 reviews total. One of them is mine, by the way. And it's never really lit up the social medias. It hasn't been on the bestseller lists. And I don't know. It's like no one knows this game exists. But it also, I think, is a really good game. And as an early access title, I want them to continue working on it, especially. So I want people to check it out and hopefully buy it so they have money so I can keep playing it and stuff. So yeah, maybe, excuse me, I'm also like, I have a vested interest, as it were. So let's talk about Beyond Despair. You guys, if you follow me, on Twitch or whatever, I've been very interested in survival games lately. I love scavenging. I love searching nooks and crannies. I love eating in games, having to eat. And I love, like leveling and XP and crafting and exploring and stuff. I'm not huge on PvP though, and I hate when you die, you lose everything kind of games. That seems to be popular. And I also really hate building. So most survival games just are not for me. I hate battle royales. And some of the more popular survival games like 7 Days to Die, Conan Exiles, building is a huge part. I'm just not a fan of building. So now we have Beyond Despair. Beyond Despair is a very interesting game. It's an amalgamation, conglomeration of different kinds of games and different game concepts. Fucking volume! Honestly, I think the trailer does not do the game justice. The trailer kind of sucks, which maybe is a problem also. Beyond Despair is like if Stalker, Slender Man, and DayZ had a baby, and the Metro games and Fallout were babysitting it, then you would kind of get Beyond Despair. That's a horrible description, but yeah. So Beyond Despair, you start the game. It's offline. You can play offline, or you can play online. You can host a game, and it has 16-player capability right now. They might increase that in the future, maybe on an official server, but right now it's set at 16 players. So it's definitely not like, just you and your mates kind of thing. It's like a big, server, like more traditional kind of survival games. And you start off, you're on an island, you don't know where you are or what's happening. And people call you a volunteer. You don't remember volunteering for anything. And you're on this island with these crazy anomalies, which are ripped straight from Stalker. And there are these monsters and mutants and crazy people and freaks that look like maybe they were infected or mutated, or the anomalies did things to them. Maybe they're jumping out of the anomalies. You go next to the anomalies make you crazy, they do damage to you, and you have to eat to survive. You need to drink, you need water. You have to manage your stress. Like, you could go crazy, Lovecraft style, and then you need to drink vodka to calm down, or smoke some cigarettes, Russian style. And you can even freeze to death. And there's also like bleeding effects and a few diseases. So you have to maintain and find and scavenge. There's also crafting. You could make turn food into better food, and you could make medications and stuff. You can find recipes, which is really cool. When you learn a recipe, it stays with you permanently, even if you die. And there's also crafting for weapon mods and stuff. You could find weapons, repair them, or recycle them. You could recycle lots of things, which give you a general resource core, which is just like resource. And and that's the main ingredient for crafting in general. And you also use that for repairs. When you die, you lose your entire inventory, but you keep your recipes and your quests, as long as they're not quests connected to an item you have. Then you could lose the progress. But you could run back to where you died, and you could recover your stuff from your body, unless you quit the game or another player steals your stuff. And they're adding, it's not in the game yet, they're going to add a group mechanic, so you could really more officially group with players to get things done. There is a story in this game, which is also interesting. There's an actual plot. There's serious world building and lore, and there's even audio logs with voice work, and there's also voices for certain quests, and your character will say things, which is very interesting. It's different than the standard schlock with no voice work at all. There is a main storyline, and then there's randomly generated side quests that could pop up when you go in certain areas, which is really cool. Now, the main storyline's not beatable yet. It's a work in progress. The question of what happens when you beat the game, can you continue playing? Is there New Game Plus? Is definitely something that's an issue, and I brought it up. The developers say that they're aware of interest. I don't know if they really decided what they're doing there yet, but it's not linear. It's this huge open world, open-ended survival game. It's just there's also the main quest line that you could do things about. And completing quests does give you resources or food or XP. And yes, there's XP. You can level up, and there's skill trees you put points in that give you boosts in certain skills and stuff. Now there is a limit. Eventually, you cap out your skills, and I've also been asking them to make limitless progression or just increase the progression, and that's something that they're thinking on also. But reaching the limit will take a very, very long time, and it isn't something you necessarily have to worry about. Brain freeze. The game is scary. It actually really gets scary too, which is another thing. You don't usually get scared playing these kind of games, especially at night. Things will jump out at you. There's freaking ghosts. There's hallucinations. You hear voices. Things just move or randomly roll. It reminds me of scary parts of Fear or Stalker or Slender Man. And you definitely will not want to play this by yourself, because you want someone watching your back and you're going to get scared. And you want a friend to pick up your stuff when you die, so you don't worry when you're running back. And progress and work on this game has been moving along well. It's been going. They've been working on it. They get updates very regularly. Keep in mind, as I said, it only came out in January, so there are games that have been early access for 5 years or something, which is crazy. And also, the game can be very pretty at times, as you can see right here. When you have the settings turned on maximum, I think the graphics are actually really good. I really do. It also runs very smoothly, at least for me, on maximum settings. There is a half a second a pause when you go into when you're running, when you run, it burns stamina, and when I switch to run mode, there's a slight pause. And I think that might be more just something to do with the way run mode is set up. Aside from that, I never noticed anything. And it has some amazing, interesting vistas, as you can see. And I really like this game. I've even been buying copies for my friends and my viewers just to have people to play with because people don't want to, take a risk, and I don't want to play by myself because it's freaking scary. And it's also kind of difficult, at least for me. I don't know. But I really think it's a good game. I think it's interesting, and you guys check it out. If you like survival games but you hate building, if you like scary games, if you like the idea of needing to eat but you want a game with a story also, if you want an air of mystery, it definitely has some new ideas and mixes some games together in interesting ways. So check it out. It's on Steam, Beyond Despair. It definitely deserves more sales, or at least just look at it and decide if you want it. But it's like I feel like no one knows this game exists, and it's been out for a few months, and it's ridiculous because it's probably one of the best non-scammy survival games that's come out on Steam recently. So check it out. Beyond Despair, Steam. Yeah. Okay. Bye.